Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So before I get started, I would like to thank Boom Bubble Bus Repeat for promoting my channel on his video. Thank you so much, bro. I so appreciate it. I gotten a lot of views off of this thing. I almost didn't post it because the video, when I posted it, if you haven't seen it, I did it in my car. It was kind of nighttime, and the video lighting was really terrible. But it doesn't really matter. It's all about, the words anyway. And he promoted my channel, and thank you, man. I just can't believe it. I never would have thought YouTube would have changed my life in the way it has. I have, over the last year, you can go back and see it. If you go back to my very first video that I had ever put out, you can see it there, that I really was stepping into what I wanted to learn. I really wanted to learn about economics. I wanted to understand the money system. I really want to be involved because it's ever changing. And I feel that with YouTube and the videos and the comments and all the subscribers, I learn a lot. I learn a lot from you guys, and I can't thank you enough. I really can't. YouTube's changed my life. It really has, and so much for the better. Anyway, if you haven't been over to Boom Bubble Bus Repeat's channel, go over and subscribe to his channel. He is so close to the 1,000 subscribers that he needs to monetize his channel. Now, in order to monetize YouTube, you need to get 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's 250,000 minutes of view time. So go over, check out Boom Bubble Bus Repeats, check out some of his videos, show him some love, give him some thumbs up and comment on his videos. Let's see if we can't get him to that 1,000 subscribers here tonight, tomorrow, let's do it. I thought I'd talk a little bit about an interview that I was watching on CNBC. It turned out to be one of the better interviews I've seen in quite some time. It was with, and the name is really hard, Oksana Aronov. Anyway, I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys. Now, in this interview, they asked her about the Federal Reserve and this overnight repo and if this was a red flag or not. And she said, absolutely, it's a red flag. And that fixed income has moved itself into a commoditized asset, meaning that it's more like gold as far as an asset goes, meaning that at least as far as what I was interpreting what she was saying is that when you buy gold, or if you buy a bond, when you buy a bond, you are guaranteed that you're going to get a return off of that bond, and it's going to be the principal plus the interest rate it pays. Gold, on the other hand, is your anticipation that the price of it will go up and you'll be able to sell it for a higher price. So this is what she means, that this fixed income has moved itself over to the commoditized asset alongside of gold instead of being on a different kind of level. See, when investors invest money, they're expecting a return, whether you buy a bond or if you buy, say, a rental property, you're anticipating that it's going to have this return if everything goes as, anticipated. Instead of buying, like I said, gold, where you're anticipating that the price will go up for whatever reason, whether it's mining issues or, just economic instabilities, you're anticipating on selling it for a higher price or being able to get more for it than what you paid. And so, this bond thing has become speculation. Then she moves on into talking about who is buying these things. Now, she talked about 20% of the negative yielding debt is owned by ETFs and mutual funds. And then she goes on to say, this particular group of investors, they do not like to sit on losses for long periods of time. And so what she is saying is that if the markets shift, if interest rates begin to rise, that this particular market is probably going to get out of the market very quickly because they just don't really have the strong hands to sit and just ride out the wave, so to speak. If interest rates start to rise and those bonds start to come down in price, they're going to dump them right away because, they would rather, cut their losses where they are if they have any before losing any more. At least that's what she was saying in the interview. Now, what's interesting about it, if you go and you watch the interview, watch the commentators, because they have, listen to their voice. They have a bit of anxiety going on. It's not like their competency that they typically would show on their regular interviews and whatnot. Talking to this lady, they seemed to almost a little stressed. Going on, what else did she say that I took some takeaways from? I took some notes here, guys. Let me see. Oh, seeing the limits. This is the limits on the central banking system, right? And so she goes on to say that that you can really see how the effectiveness of what the banks are doing is losing its effectiveness, essentially. And that the other day when the ECB had pretty much announced that they were going to go back into the quantitative easing, where they're going to be buying bonds and, you know, stimulating the economy, and she said that they had thrown the kitchen sink, and that we actually saw in that environment rates go up in the aftermath. I believe it was just for a short period of time, but that, you know, essentially that the markets didn't like the idea of this, of these, you know, central banks coming into the rescue, so to speak. So what she goes on to say in the end is that this bond bubble, we don't know when it's going to burst, right? We don't know when the bond bubble is going to burst and how it's going to take place. And that the safe haven asset is cash, and cash is no longer trash. And that's the place to be during this, you know, economic uncertainty that she sees taking place. I found it very interesting. So anyway, I'll leave a link to that down in the description. I'll leave a link down to Boom Bubble Bust Repeats YouTube channel for you guys to go and subscribe to. Let's get them over to the 1,000 subscriber mark tonight. All right, guys, uneducated economist, you let me know.